Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Kate Harris Consulting. Hope you're doing well. So this is the second video in the series in terms of what we're going to be learning about in the course. Okay, so the last video I made was in terms of what we're learning in module number 1, which is hosting and the WordPress dashboard. Okay, this module, module number 2, what you're going to be learning in that is all covering plugins. It's covering cPanel and it's covering the Google Search Console. Okay, so there's lots of things to talk about in terms of those 3 areas. So first of all, the cPanel. What the heck is that, Kate? I've never heard of a cPanel. Don't worry. cPanel is basically your area where you'll be able to find your database for your website. Okay, so within there you'll be able to find all the files that you need if you wanted to manage your email accounts that you've got for that website, if you wanted to add domains, if you wanted to create any subdomains, if you wanted to do any backups or any software installations, you could do it there. If you wanted to update your PHP version, you would do it there. Now, not all hosting packages come with a cPanel per se. Some of them do, some come with actual cPanel, which is cool. When you get login credentials, we will set them up once you've got that. Some won't just have that though. So I would say the budget-friendly hosting packages out there, they're really good. Those budget-friendly ones, they are good, but they won't necessarily come with cPanel. You might not want cPanel, to be honest with you. It's not something that you would necessarily need to worry about unless you wanted to have full control. Like utterly full control. You'll find with, especially with like the budget options for hosting, which we spoke about in the previous video, some hosting providers, the budget friendly ones, they won't provide you with a cPanel access, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. It just means it's just an irritant. I think it's an irritant because if you want to make any updates or changes or create something, every chance you won't be able to do it without asking them to do it for you. So you'd have to call them or drop them an email and explain what you want to do. Like, I want to create a subdomain. Can you update my PHP version? Like, they might do that stuff automatically, the PHP versions, for example. But if you wanted to add on another email account, for example, you'd have to go and ask them to do it. And if you don't mind doing that, that's why a budget-friendly hosting package is really, really good. But these are the sort of things that you get within the cPanel. It's another minefield, to be quite honest with you, of different things to look at and see and whatnot. But there's nothing wrong with that. And it's something that we will totally cover in the course in module number 2. The second area of module number 2 is in terms of the Google Search Console and what that is. So that's important because when you create a website and you put it out there, you want people to find your website. I think you do. And you want to let Google know that you have a website and here are all the pages for the website. So we do something where we connect your website to Google Search Console, and what it will do is it will index your website. It will send little crawlers, little bots, if you will, all over your website. So you'll tell them, okay, these are the pages, which we'll talk about in the module, and then as you create more pages, make sure you update your indexing with Google Search Console so Google knows. But it's going to crawl across all of your web pages that you've got. Okay, so once you create a page and you've let Google know about it, it's going to track it, it's going to have a look, it's going to read through it, it's going to try and understand what your page is all about. What is this particular page all about? And, you know, can it use that information to push your details out to society and let them know about your page? So it's important that Google understands all the different parts of your website. And so it's important that we tell Google to index our website. And so the Google Search Console is used for that. And we'll let them know, hey, here's a website, I've got a few pages, this is what it's about. And it can read the context and everything that's in there and all the content and all your pictures and try and work out, because all it wants to do is try and work out what your site is about so that it can try and find the right people to bring over to your site. So it's kind of cool. So it's important we do it. The other thing we talk about in module number 2 is plugins. Okay, now plugins is easy to get muddled with plugins, and it's easy to overwhelm a website with plugins. There is such a thing as too many plugins. Okay, so when you first install WordPress, you're going to have a few plugins. It's going to come with a few standard out of the box. Mostly not needed though. Mostly, I'd say that maybe one you could keep. That's quite a good one, but the rest of them you could probably get rid of. You don't need them. But plugins are there to make a better website. Okay, it's there to enhance your website, so you can add different features to your website. Okay, so like where I sort of talked about in my last video, in regards to hosting, for example, when it comes to hosting, when you're first buying a hosting package, what you'll find a lot of the time is your hosting provider that you're looking at will try and encourage you to pay extra money to get your website backed up. For example, this is an example. Now, you don't need to pay your hosting provider extra money to have a backup of your website. You can, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't need to. There's a plugin that you can install for that for free, and it will back up your website for you. So you don't need to do it. And there's every chance that your website will be backed up small amounts anyway, as a minimum, by your hosting provider as it is. So you don't need to spend all that extra money, and that's what I was trying to explain. Like, there's a lot of things that it will try and sort of encourage you to purchase that you don't need to. But when there's a plugin out there for free that you can use, now you could just spend that money and save yourself the space on your website by not adding that plugin, because you will save space. It's important, you know, when you build a website, you don't want to have a really heavy one. You don't want it to be like 3 gigabytes in size, because that's not going to perform very well unless you're going to aim for cloud hosting. If you're going to have a website that sort of big, you should probably invest in cloud hosting, which is really amazing. That's basically, you know, where the hosting provider you're with will take a screenshot of your website like every hour, I want to say, and it will update its it's got locations all over the world, okay, and all of the locations will be updated with that updated screenshot of your website every hour, let's say. And so when somebody clicks on your website, instead of them having to wait 3, 4, 5 seconds, if it's a really heavy build website, for example, they'd have to wait quite a while, wouldn't they, for it to load. Instead of that, it's instant. Click, instant. So it's really good. If you've got a really heavy website, cloud hosting is probably really good. You should probably consider that. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool things about plugins that we could talk about. There's a bunch of different things. There's plugins for adding different code snippets. For example, if you wanted to add a cool little nifty bit of code to your site that would make the world of difference, there's a plugin for that. If you want to have different stats for your website and learn about the traffic and where it's coming from, you can install something like Google Sidekick. You can install Jetpack. You can install like starter kit templates and stuff like that, so you can build really easy websites and nice and quickly as well. Yeah, and even like security as well. If you wanted to have security for your website, you could install an abundant amount of security options. There's so many different things. If you want one for SEO, for example, if you want to be able to have a really strong SEO website, then there's a plugin for that. You know, there's a plugin for everything. So it really depends. If you wanted to add, it's like your phone. Think of plugins like your phone. So you're going to add a new app to your phone. So you go to the App Store and you install the app, and then you can do some really cool things with that app on your phone, right? It's the same with a plugin. But the thing is, you know, your phone has a maximum capacity, yes? So does your website. So you don't want to overdo it. It's important not to get carried away. So sometimes it's handy to have plugins, for sure. You need plugins, but you don't have to always, to get the result that you want, you don't always have to have a plugin to do that. Sometimes you can do that with a code snippet or a widget. So, you know, and that saves on space on the website as well. So it's really, really cool. So that's pretty much what we cover in module number 2. We cover a lot of this in depth, and I'm going to, like before, walk you through everything that you'd need. Now, again, if you've bought the course and you're in module number 2, or any of the modules for that matter, and I'm showing you something and you're like, oh, that's really cool, Kate, yeah, I like that, but you know what, I actually want something a bit different from my website, but you're not really showing that. That's cool. That's all right. All you've got to do is drop me a message, all right? Because you're in the course, because you've enrolled, you've got access to me. As long as I'm not sleeping, I'll answer you, okay? But you can message me and just say, actually, Kate, in module number 2 you were talking about all the things. That's cool, but I wanted to do this with my website. How can I do that? And I'll say, aha, no worries. I will make you a video, okay? And I'll show you, I'll send that video over to you so you can see it. And then if you've got questions, you can ask me more questions, because you might want to, you know, you might not want to do a website like what I'm just explaining to you and showing you, walking you through. You might want to make it your own. So it's important that when you walk away from your website and it's built and you're happy with it, it's important for you and it's important for me that you love it and that you're proud of it and you want to show it off. And you're like, look everyone, look at my website. And if it's not perfect, then that's not going to happen. And if there's certain things that you want to have on that website, that's fine. You just let me know. I will show you how to do it. I'll help you with it in that, you know, in that capacity. And if you need me to step in and help you out, I can. If you need me to log in and help you set something up or configure something, that's okay. Let me know. So yeah, I want to say that's pretty much all I want to say for module number 2. Yeah, I think so. What time is it? Okay, so I'm going to say in about an hour and a half. I've posted about this on TikTok already, but in about an hour and a half from now, I'm going to be removing the discount that I had applied. So there was a 50% discount off the course. I'm going to be taking that down probably about 5 o'clock UK time. So if you're seeing this and it's before 5 PM, you could save £750 if you enrol in the course today. If you don't want to save £750 and you'd prefer to pay full price, you're very welcome to do that too. But letting you know because it'd be rude not to tell you. If you're watching this video and you're interested in building a website, I don't want to not tell you about this. So being as transparent as I possibly can. You've got probably an hour and a half, assuming I don't get waylaid or forget, because I've got a lot to do today. So yeah, I'm going to leave it for there, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. We're going to talk more about module number 3 and what that's all going to entail. So I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye.